Hello and welcome back to Explore Fernanda. So today we are in New York City. So there's a lot in New York City. I've not been able to get through a lot of it. I've mentioned an extra few places in the Instagram just so you guys can get a better, broader idea of what's in New York. So today I'm going to be looking at the Statue of Liberty, the Empire State Building, Central Park, and just a few pop culture references and Tiffany's. So New York is the most populated city in the United States. In 2015, there was an estimated 8 million people, making it the most densely populated city as well. So it's not really that big a landmass. So that's why whenever you see it in the movies and stuff, it's chaotic and people everywhere. And it's separated into 5 boroughs. So it's got counties and different things like that. America's quite different to Australia in that sense. So there's the Bronx, Brooklyn, Manhattan, Staten Island, and Queens. So a lot of people will have heard of them. And that's why sometimes it's a bit confusing how it all works in America because, yeah, you've got these counties and boroughs, but they're all classified as New York City. So I'll start with the Statue of Liberty today. So it's a neoclassical sculpture on Liberty Island, and it's a copper statue. That's why it's got that greeny colour, because copper has that connection with the colour. It was actually a gift from the French to the Americans, and it was designed by a French sculptor, Frederick Augustus Bartholdi. I'm not sure if I pronounced that right. I do apologise. And it was built by Gaston Eiffel, who we have previously met in my Paris video. So for those of you who can't remember him, go check that video out again. So it was dedicated on October the 28th, 1886. So it is a very old statue. I do think this is one that everyone can recognise but not know a lot of the history about. Personally, I didn't know that it was a gift. So the statue is a robed female figure representing Liberis, a Roman goddess. So she holds the torch above her head, as many of us will recognise. I think that's the part where everyone knows. And in her other hand, she has a tablet that is inscribed with Roman numerals, which spell out July 4th, 1776, which of course is the Declaration of Independence for America. So that's quite important to them and their history, and it just resonates so much with their culture. There's also a broken chain at her feet, so that's representing their freedom and breaking through and different things like that. That was one aspect of the sculpture I never realised, so I found that a really interesting fact as well. And she is used basically as a welcome site for immigrants coming abroad. It's a sign that land is near and help and different things like that. And she's quite high. She's 46 metres high, so you wouldn't miss her if you're coming from abroad. Another famous icon for America is the Empire State Building. So it was completed on April 11th, 1931. So again, it's also quite old. And it's a 102-story building. It's on Fifth Avenue, which also has a few other famous icons, which we will look at later in the video. And it stands at 443 metres, so a bit bigger than the Statue of Liberty. And its name is derived from the nickname for New York being the Empire State. So I put that on my Instagram, a few of the different nicknames, so go check that out, Explore Fernanda. And for nearly 40 years, it was the world's tallest building. It wasn't until the original World Trade Center was built in the late 1970s that it was overtaken. And then after the devastating 9/11, the Empire State Building became the largest again. But then now they've built the World Trade Center 1 building, and that's overtaken the Empire State again. So it's kind of been the tallest, not been, and it's not again. And it is really a cultural icon for America. It's been used in a lot of different films. So you have King Kong, where obviously he's on the building and different things like that. I think that's a really iconic scene for it. And A Fair to Remember, which is quite an old film, but it is a classic. I'd recommend watching it. Sleepless in Seattle, which is one of my personal favorites. I love that movie. It's also been featured in Percy Jackson and The Olympians, The Lightning Thief, and a few other more modern films. It's also been featured in an episode of Gossip Girl. It's just got a real romantic feel about it. And I think that's why so many people like it, because it kind of has that aspect. It's not just a skyscraper, a building. It's got that, romantic aspect of it, and it's really nice. And another part of New York that I've always been interested in is Central Park. So it's an urban park in Manhattan, and it's the most visited urban park in United States. And in 2013, it had more than 40 million visitors. So I think that this just comes about from everyone knowing Central Park. It's a really famous park. I probably couldn't name a lot of other parks in a lot of different countries. And it's just really interesting because it's got so many different aspects to it as well. It's not just a walk-through park. It has attractions and different things like that, which I'll have a look at. So it's the most filmed location in the world. So that kind of helps with it being so famous and different things like that. And it was established in 1857, so again, very old. And in 1962, it became a National Historical Landmark. So it kind of adds to that whole famous, iconic location of it, and now it's got that name to it. So that's really awesome for America. So I think there's a Central Park carousel, and it's really cute. It was installed in 1951 and is one of the largest merry-go-rounds in the United States. So it's originally from Coney Island, but they moved it over. And it has 58 handcrafted horses and 2 chariots. If you go look at it in the internet, like, it's such a beautiful, cute little area for kids and families, and it just kind of provides that extra element to the park. And then, of course, there is the zoo, which I think everyone's heard of Central Park Zoo from various occasions. So it was opened formally in 1934, and it has a musical clock tower at the North Gate, which has been featured in different films and things. I think I first saw that clock in the Madagascar animated films, and then I've seen it in different series from then on. So there's 3 different areas of a zoo. There's tropical, temperate, and polar. So it also has an indoor rainforest, a chilled penguin house, and a polar bear pool, which is actually being occupied by 2 grizzly bears at the moment. So it's a really cute family day. It's quite a small zoo, presumably because it's in a park. It's not like a normal zoo, I suppose. So some of the films that have used it is the recent Fantastic Beasts and Where to Find Them, the Madagascar series, as I said, Cat People, The Wild, and Mr. Popper's Penguins. So a lot of these are kids films, and that's because the zoo kind of has that attraction for all the young kids and families and things like that. So yeah, maybe just when you're around New York, just check it out. And the thing that I love most about New York is it's the setting of Breakfast at Tiffany's one of my absolute favourite films. Not forgetting that it was a novel first by Truman Capote. So it's centered around Holly Golightly, who has become such a style icon. She was played by Audrey Hepburn. You just need to think about the big hat, the glasses, the long black dress, the pearl choker, and the heels, and you just have your perfect outfit that is so glamorous and so stylish. That's kind of where my love for Audrey Hepburn and Tiffany both started, as it was the first film that I saw with Audrey Hepburn. I think I was about 12 when I saw it. And ever since that day, I begged my mum, please, can I get something Tiffany? And I got this Tiffany necklace for my 18th birthday. It's on my Instagram. I love it because it is so simple, and I think that movie really helped. Tiffany was obviously famous before, but that film really put it in there because so many women decided, I want to go eat my pastry in front of the window at Fifth Avenue, Tiffany & Co. because Audrey Hepburn did it, and it's just become such a cultural thing for a lot of people. So the film was released in 1961, and in 2012, the film was deemed culturally, historically, and aesthetically significant by the United States Library of Congress and has been selected for preservation in the National Film Registry. So if that doesn't show the significance of this film, I don't know what will. But it's really awesome. I would suggest anyone who hasn't seen it to go check it out. It's just a lot of fun. The film is actually only a loose copy of what the book is. So if you read it, you will notice a lot of differences. So I've read the book as well. I got it a little while after I got the movie. So when I read it, I was quite surprised because I thought the film would have been exactly the same, but it's not. But I think that really kind of made it more interesting because you kind of have those two different sides of the same story. I know Truman Capote wasn't actually a huge fan of Audrey Hepburn being in the film. He wanted Marilyn Monroe originally. Unfortunately, obviously, that didn't happen for him. But I think Audrey Hepburn is just as good. So, yeah. And then, like I said, this one was filmed in New York. So it follows the Fifth Avenue Tiffany & Co., which is the original Tiffany & Co., which is really cool. It's quite old. So the Fifth Avenue store opened its doors on the 21st of October 1940. So yes, it's quite old and still such a massive cultural style, just icon of not just America, of everywhere. I think, basically every country in the world has a Tiffany's somewhere. And it's just becoming bigger and bigger, and they're branching out in their styles and really just expanding upon their brand and bringing in younger designers and things like that. So Tiffany's not going anywhere anytime soon. So apart from the flagship store on Fifth Avenue, there's 9 retail stores in New York. So you definitely will not struggle finding your little blue box. So there's one Wall Street, Soho, Hacks and Salt, Garden State Plaza, American Manhattan, the mall at Short Hills, Red Bank, White Plains, and Greenwich. So you could just take a wander around the city and you will run into one somewhere. So this actually concludes my New York video. Like I said, I didn't actually get to go through everything. I might try and come back and do a part 2 of New York later on. So I hope you enjoyed Please don't forget to subscribe and comment and like. I want to hear everyone's opinions. And make sure you are following my Instagram, Explore with Amanda. Thank you. I will see you next week.